अस्सलाम वालेकुम एंड अ वेरी वार्म वेलकम। आप देख रहे हैं आज पाकिस्तान। मैं हूं सिद्रा इकबाल और यकीनन आज का प्रोग्राम आपने मिस नहीं करना बिकॉज देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ स्टोरीज दैट वीड लाइक टू शेयर विद यू। सबसे पहले जी शुरुआत करते हैं कि गुज़िश्ता रोज हमने देखा कि मुल्क भर में ईद मिलादुन नबी मजहबी जोश और अकीदत से मनाया गया और जगह जगह इसके लिए महफिल का इनेकाद किया गया, इजलास हुए और यकीनन एक दफा फिर हमें ये रिमाइंडर मिलता है कि किस तरह सीरत नबवी पे चलते हुए हम एक बेहतरीन रियासत, एक बेहतरीन माशरा कायम कर सकते हैं। और आज के प्रोग्राम में भी बात करेंगे हम आहंगी के हवाले से कि न सिर्फ पाकिस्तान में बल्कि बहैसियत एक मुसलमान, बहैसियत एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल सिटीजन के व्हाट इज द रोल दैट वी कैन प्ले ऑन द वर्ल्ड स्टेज। खास तौर पे इस वक्त जबकि दुनिया में हालात और आपसी रवाबित बिल्कुल मुख्तलिफ नौयत के होते जा रहे हैं, बदलते जा रहे हैं। ट्रेड और इकोनॉमी सारी ममालिक के लिए बहुत अहम है क्योंकि हर एक ने ही एक धचका सहा है कोविड की वजह से। तो इस वक्त ये नई दुनिया के रवाबित किस तरह उभर रहे हैं। हम जानते हैं कि दुबई में भी एक्सपो 2020 हो रही है जो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी मंडी तस्वुर की जा रही है कि जिसमें इक़्तिसादियात, ट्रेड पे बदलते हुए जो रिश्ते हैं, बदलते हुए जो हालात हैं उसका एक बहुत बड़ा अहम कंट्रीब्यूटर होगा। लोगों से मुलाकात वहाँ पे हो रही है। जानकर बड़ी खुशी होती है कि पाकिस्तान का पवेलियन वहाँ का सबसे मसरूफ तरीन पवेलियन है और काफी लोगों की तवज्जो को अपनी तरफ लिए हुए है। लेकिन आज बिलखुसूस इस प्रोग्राम में हम बात करना चाहेंगे पाकिस्तान और इटली के बायलैटरल रिलेशंस की तरफ से। अच्छी खबर यह है कि अगर इस साल हम देखते हैं तो पाकिस्तान ट्रेड सरप्लस शो कर रहा है जी तकरीबन 300 मिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स का और ये गुज़िश्ता साल से 49% ज्यादा है। तो क्या इसकी वजूहात बनी और अब आगे जाके हम क्या देख सकते हैं कि किन एरियाज पे कोलैबोरेट कर सकते हैं पाकिस्तान और इटली, खुसूसन अगर हम क्लाइमेट की बात करें, ट्रेड की बात करें और समाजी रवैयों की बात करें। ये जानकर आपको बहुत खुशी होगी कि अगर पूरे यूरोप में देखा जाए तो वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट डायस्पोराज ऑफ पाकिस्तानीज लिव्स इन इटली और इसके अलावा इटालियन क्यूजीन तो यहाँ मशहूर है ही, फैशन का, क्यूजीन का, एवरीथिंग ग्लोरियस एंड लग्जरियस का हब समझा जाता है। तो आने वाले दिनों में दोनों ममालिक के कैसे ताल्लुकात होंगे ये हम जानेंगे। आज एक खुसूसी गुफ्तगू में हमारे साथ मौजूद होंगे द काउंसिल जनरल ऑफ इटली टू कराची। उनसे गुफ्तगू करते हैं लेकिन सिर्फ एक छोटे से ब्रेक के बाद। वेलकम बैक आफ्टर द ब्रेक। आप देख रहे हैं आज पाकिस्तान और आज एक खुसूसी कॉन्वर्जेशन। दिस इज गोइंग टू बी विद द काउंसिल जनरल ऑफ इटली टू कराची। हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं और खास तौर पे अगर इस गुफ्तगू की बात की जाए फॉर द सेक ऑफ कन्वीनियंस ऑफ कोर्स हम इसको अंग्रेजी में कंडक्ट करेंगे। इसकी जो अहम नकात होंगे वो मैं आपको क्लोजिंग में फिर बताती भी चलूंगी। लेकिन आज वी आर वेरी ऑनर्ड टू हैव विद अस मिस्टर डैनिलो जुर्दानेला हु इज द काउंसिल जनरल ऑफ इटली टू कराची। ही हैज बीन पोस्टेड इन कराची सिंस द 30th of September 2020. It's rather recent and of course he came in right in the wake of the COVID and we saw what a disastrous situation it was for Italy. Alhamdulillah, the whole world is on the path to recovery now, but what have been the lessons? And right in that, just like there's a famous Dickensian saying that it's the best of times, it's the worst of times. We've seen a trade surplus of about 300 million US dollars. So what do we owe that success to? We'll find out, we'll unpack it and dive deeper into it. Thank you so much, Ambassador Giurdanella, for being here with us today. But first of all, I'd like to know a little more about you. So you opted to be in Karachi. What inspired you to take up this posting and this position?
Well, good morning. Very nice seeing you again. Well, I always had a love for South Asia, in fact, and I was in Pakistan before, so with my wife actually. So we really did love the city of Karachi. So we wanted to be here, and we've been here 1 year. And I have to say, so far we've not been disappointed in our expectations. So we're very happy.
And have you had a chance to, visit the other cities of the country? Have you been to Islamabad, Lahore, some other places?
Of course, many times to Islamabad, Lahore. It's a beautiful city. But to be honest, after 1 year, it seems that Karachi has really become our home. So when we go to other cities, we kind of miss Karachi, in fact.
It's very heartening to know that. Now, if I dive deeper into your own personal credentials, you've studied law. And then you are now a career diplomat. So what is the pathway to joining foreign services in Italy?
Well, I started as a lawyer. I worked for a very important law firm in Brussels, in fact. But my dream was always to work for the government, and I know it sounds a bit cliche, but I wanted to serve the people. I wanted to do the public good. So this is the reason why I did competition to join the Foreign Service, and well, I was successful, and here I am.
That's wonderful to know. And you particularly highlighted that you always found a keen interest in the South Asian culture. A lot of people draw parallels with the Italian culture and the South Asian culture. Do you see any similarities?
Yes, absolutely. We both have very ancient culture. In fact, we are modern state. Both Italy and Pakistan, we are modern states, but we have very ancient roots, and we always were home to many people, to many religions, to many cultures, to many languages, and we share also many similarities. For instance, Italy and Pakistan, they're both very long country. You see, we have the sea and we have very high mountains. We're not, our mountains are not as high as yours, but
yes, but the lean structure of the geography is very similar. So, Ambassador Giurdanella, whenever since your last visit, I've always been seeking your advice about the various Italian restaurants that we have in Karachi and all over Pakistan, and you seem to feel that we're missing the mark. What we get over here is probably not authentic Italian. Why is that, and how do you think they have adjusted to the Pakistani palate to make it more popular here?
Well, we're trying to change that. We're trying to bring more Italian products. Your question is in fact very appropriate, because this month we will have the yearly week of the Italian cuisine. So we'll do many culinary activities also, and we'll bring Italian chef here and Italian products.
अच्छा, ये उन तमाम लोगों के लिए बड़ी अच्छी खबर है जो इटालियन cuisine को पसंद करते हैं, पास्ताज, पिज़्ज़ाज उनको पसंद है, और हमारे upcoming chefs के लिए भी, because authentic Italian chefs through the consulate and through the embassy पाकिस्तान को visit करेंगे. पूरा हफ्ता मनाया जाएगा Italian cuisine के हवाले से. So that's definitely great news. But coming to the big good news that we've been sharing, and since then we've been working towards having this conversation, Ambassador Giurdanella. We are looking at a $300 million surplus in the trade. It's 49% higher than the last year. What do we owe this success to? What has worked for the two countries?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that it's been a long time since a long time, Pakistan-Italy trade relations, they have showed a surplus for Pakistan. That is very good news for Pakistan.
True.
To be fair, overall, in the EU, you do have a trade surplus, so you export more than you import.
Yes.
But this is very significant for Italy. We have very significant number, and Italy is the second export destination in the EU after the German market. So Italy represents very important export market for Pakistan textile. I think I would like to say that the embassy and your embassy in Rome has been doing a very good work in promoting our countries, and I think economic diplomacy is one of our main objectives here, to increase trade, because the numbers are good actually. So we're talking about 700 million exports and a little bit below 500 million imports. But trade studies show that we have a potential of $5 billion trade bilateral trade between
Wow.
Italy and Pakistan. So there is still a lot of work to do.
There's a huge potential. अगर सिर्फ potential की बात की जाए तो $5 billion के हजम का potential मौजूद है दोनों ममालिक की trade के दरमियान. So it is only natural to ask what are the products that perhaps Italy can export to Pakistan. Right now the number is small, but where are the other areas where value can be co-created for both the countries? So if I may ask you the same question, Ambassador Giurdanella, what products can Pakistan actually import from Italy?
So Pakistan imports a lot of machinery, so especially printing machines for textile. So this is one technology in which we very much specialize, and we have a very good maintenance after sales service. So this is why many Pakistani businessmen in Karachi and Lahore, they love our products. But we also, it is little known, but in fact also pharmaceuticals. pharmaceutical products, Italy is very big, is a leader in the pharmaceutical industry. So a lot are imported, but still the number might grow. And also leather machines, for instance, so that there are other sectors. What we're working on is food processing, because that would be a great thing to have more food processing here. In fact, for instance, you have fantastic fruits, very good vegetable. So we should have more food processing here, and then you could export to the final product to in Europe, customs free.
So that's definitely an area where more collaboration and more value can be added if they can put up plants. अगर इस तरह की machinery processing units लगे जिसमें food processing हो सके, जिस तरह के कहा जा रहा है कि पूरी दुनिया बात करती है farm to fork की, और पाकिस्तान में इतनी high quality produce होने के बावजूद जहां हमारे fruits और vegetable दुनिया में बेहतरीन माने जाते हैं, उनमें से कई market तक पहुंच नहीं पाते क्योंकि उसमें value addition नहीं होती, processing नहीं होती. So there's a huge potential over there. So we will continue our conversation with Ambassador Danilo Giurdanella, who is the Consul General of Italy to Karachi, and we'll explore more of the avenues where the two countries can come together. There is definitely the issue of climate change, where we see Italy leading the whole conversation at the international platform, plus of course the changing geographic reality of the region, which includes Afghanistan, Pakistan and the Central Asian countries. We'll have his comment on that right after this short break. Welcome back after the break. The present government of Pakistan, in fact, puts a lot of focus on economic diplomacy. That has been the vision of Prime Minister Imran Khan from the very beginning of his term as the Prime Minister. At the same time, there are many other avenues countries like Pakistan and Italy can collaborate on. Just like we were talking about, there was a conversation about how deep the cultural roots and the traditional roots are, which is definitely another area where more collaboration can be. You'd be happy to learn that there is presently an Italian archaeological mission that is working actively in Bambor. Let's find out more about that. So Ambassador Giurdanella, there is a mission actively working in Bambor, an ancient city of Pakistan. How can these collaborations actually strengthen the bilateral ties between the two countries?
The very important cooperation, Bambor, which is very much appreciated by the government, and in fact they're going to, Italian archaeologists, they're going to arrive again soon. So it's with the University of Milan, and we're looking forward to have more such cooperation. Italy is very much appreciated in the world for our knowledge in the preservation of cultural goods. We are the first country in the world for number of UNESCO heritage sites. So we have a lot of archaeological sites in Italy.
Will this mission be actively pursuing conservation and preservation of these sites? Okay.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
That's where the expertise, the Italian expertise is, and we're really hoping to, benefit from that. But in the recent years, we've also seen the Foreign Minister of Italy visit Pakistan recently. What has been the focus of this visit, and how does that further strengthen the ties?
Well, we had a recent visit of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was very much, he went extremely well, so I really wish to thank the Pakistani government and the armed force for having arranged a fantastic visit. They were very, very flexible. And so our Foreign Minister met with Prime Minister Imran Khan, with the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, and with General Bajwa. And the focus of the discussion was, of course, the regional crisis in Afghanistan, but also how to strengthen and improve bilateral ties with Pakistan, economic ties, but we also have, we shall not forget, a very good cooperation on multilateral fora, such as the United Nations. For instance, both Italy and Pakistan, they are members of the same United Nations group, which is called Uniting for Consensus. That is to say, we have the same view on how to reform the Security Council. So that is a very, very important topic for international affairs that is often overlooked. But we do share the same values and the same view on that specific
Absolutely.
issue.
And the regional situation has changed so drastically and so soon in the last few weeks. One wonders what is the Italian Foreign Ministry thinking about Pakistan's role in the present regional developments?
I think our most important aim and worry is to avoid a humanitarian crisis. A humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan is going to trigger a lot of negative consequences, and this will be not only for the neighboring countries, including Pakistan, but for the whole international community. So I think the approach that we must take and what we must start to reason in our current view of international affairs is that more multilateralism is needed. And I think the world is understanding this little by little. And what I'm saying also, you should listen to the actors involved in the regional crisis.
Right. And how do you think the Taliban-led government in Afghanistan will take the helm of these affairs? What more can be done to support them and to support Afghanistan in avoiding this humanitarian crisis?
Well, that is, it's not easy to foresee how things are, the direction in which things are going. Our aim must be to avoid any humanitarian crisis, to help people who are in need. At the same time, it's difficult to see where things are going with the Afghan government.
Right. As part of the COP26, the UK-Italy presidency partnership in 2021, one of the agenda in climate change and biodiversity, what strategies do you think the Italian missions abroad can implement in countries like Pakistan? Because Pakistan would of course want to be a key advocate when it comes to being mindful about the climate changes, but being a developing country, sometimes it's a trade-off. So what more can be done to support countries like Pakistan?
COP26 is a very important event. It will be held in Glasgow, Scotland, and Italy is helping organizing the conference. The presidency is the UK presidency. We also hosted the pre-COP in Milan. We also had a young Pakistani delegate. It's a very important event because it's the consequence of the Paris Agreement. That is to say, every 5 years we must aim to review our targets. So it's a very important event and we must not miss this opportunity. That being said, as consulate, for instance, we are organizing next year. COVID has slowed us down and I want to do things well. We are organizing next year a very important conference here in Karachi.
In Karachi?
Yes, for circular economy, green energy and sustainable development. So we'll bring experts, government people, people from academia, business leaders here to Karachi. We want them to meet with the counterpart, with the Pakistani counterpart, and we want it to be something pragmatic will come out of it. So one day will be more about an academic discussion, and the following day we want to have G2G and G2B discussion about it, about what we concretely do.
Very rightly pointed out that the B2B and the G2G elements are very important. But whenever you interact with the common citizenry, the civil society of Pakistan, do you think they are cognizant about the climate? Is it one of our priorities if you talk about the general public sentiment?
Raising awareness, it's very important because climate change will affect Pakistan as much as will affect the whole world.
True.
In fact, we have to do this activity. We have to raise awareness towards the general public about the importance of climate change. I'm going to give you one interesting data. I'm 41 years old. I was born in 1980. When I was born, the world had 4 billion people. Today we have 8 billion people. The population has doubled.
Yes.
That's if you think about it, it's really amazing.
So we're talking about an exponential growth of the population. जिस तनासब से आबादी बढ़ रही है, महदूद वसाइल है हमारे पास, और आज अगर हमने माहौलियाती तब्दीली के बारे में तवज्जो नहीं दी और उसके ऊपर जो अपना रोल है, अपनी जिम्मेदारी को नहीं अगर हमने समझा, तो हम आने वाले वक्तों की जनरेशंस को किस किस्म का एनवायरनमेंट देके जाएंगे, ये एक बहुत बड़ा सवालिया निशान है. Ambassador Giurdanella, I would also want to talk about the impact of COVID. Italy was one of the worst hit countries when we talk about the European Union. But what have been the lessons for the healthcare system, for the government, for the policy makers, and of course for the people, as it is safe to say that the world is now coming out of this harrowing reality? What have we actually learned?
Well, Italy was the first country to be hit by COVID, and we were hit hard. Yes. Because we didn't know what COVID was. When COVID arrived, people didn't know how to react to it, so we unknowingly we spread COVID even further because we didn't know how it worked at the time. So yes. This is the reason why we were hit hard, because we were the first country. And it has taken a very huge impact on our economy, but also on world economy. On the other hand, our healthcare system is considered to be one of the best healthcare systems in the world, especially as equality of access. So our hospital, mostly they're public hospitals. So you go to a hospital, basically you pay very small fee or you pay no fee at all. Mm-hmm. So that was very good in that kind of situation. So I think COVID has put a lot of strain on our healthcare workers. But at the same time, COVID has shown the world that, without such a healthcare model in Italy, the poorer population will be really a lot worse off. But this brings me to a wider problem, which will also be faced by the next. In October, we have the G20 meeting under the Italian presidency, and they will also face this other issue because of COVID, that the global inequalities have increased. Yes. The poor have become poorer. I will tell you another data. This year will be the first year in 30 years' time that the poor population of the world will increase according to World Bank. Mm. So the difference between the global GDP has decreased, but the most worrisome fact is that the difference between the rich and poor has increased within countries. So we must fight this.
Absolutely, and Ambassador, this is so important to emphasize, because sometimes when you look at the national discourse, somehow it is taken as the failure of our present government, that inflation is going up and unemployment is going up. What you're pointing towards is the world over, all economies, be it a rich country, a developed country or a developing country, they're all facing similar problems. यानी इस बात से कतई नज़र कि आप एक तरक्की याफ्ता मुल्क हैं या हमारी तरह आप स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, हर दुनिया के मुल्क और हर माशरे ने इस वक्त एक बहुत बड़ी तब्दीली महसूस की है. वहाँ पे उनकी करेंसीज की कदर गिरी है, महंगाई में इजाफा हुआ है, फ्यूल प्राइसेस बढ़ रही हैं, साथ साथ बेरोजगारी में भी इजाफा हो रहा है. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक, आई मीन, इज इट फेयर टू क्रिटिक द प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट इन पाकिस्तान as much as they receive the criticism? What is your analysis? Just as you pointed out, the data world over is pointing to that economies are struggling and everybody is trying to deploy their best policies, their best ways to handle it. What does the coming year and month mean for a country like Pakistan?
No, Pakistan GDP growth projection, they're not going to be huge. Okay, I think it's
still single digit,
1 point something, which is not a lot considering your population growth. But if you think overall, for instance, in Italy we lost many points of our GDP. We are recovering faster. We're fast recovering. But if you look at the overall global situation, it is true what you say.
And now, since we are moving towards one of the busiest, shopping seasons, the Christmas season in Europe, I feel the last 1.5 years, what has affected trade, also the disruption in the supply chains, the logistics. How is Europe and the European Union recovering from that, and what policies are in place to help in that?
That is not easy, because that is not only a EU problem. It has become a global problem, because all significant trade now is global, and that also a lot to do with China, for instance. Mm-hmm. So the global supply chain has been disrupted, and it's not recovered yet. But I mean, we're looking at improving. We have a very good connectivity. We have a very good infrastructure in Italy. We have significant advantage, like Pakistan. of a geographic position. So we are looking at that in order to recover faster.
So what I gather is it's a very fine balance. एक तरफ आपको अपनी मईशत, अपनी इक़्तिसादियात को बैलेंस करके चलना है, और दूसरी तरफ जो लार्जर एम्स थे, जैसे आप डेवलपमेंट की बात अगर करते हैं, दुनिया के हर मुल्क ने अगर अपने लिए सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स रखे हैं, उसमें भी उनका हिस्सा बड़ा अहम है. So Ambassador, what do you think, with the economic realities being so harsh and becoming, fast becoming the top priority for every country, what about the other things? Just like you pointed out, the gap between the rich and poor is widening. How do we formulate a more equitable society around the world?
Well, this is what we're looking at, and the first step, as I was saying, is looking at multilateralism. We must understand that it's not only a few countries that can decide the destiny of the world, but we must all agree together. This is why also what Italy is Pakistan, the policy that we're pursuing at multilateral level and UN forum, for instance, they're very important. We must look at more multilateralism because the world now is global. Look, even a middle-sized business now, they export and they import, and without the global supply chain, they cannot survive.
Yes.
So this is the first step we must
Very true,
we must
but
take
at the
to go
same
into
time,
the
movement
direction.
and accessibility around the world is greatly impacted. Some good news has been coming from the Middle East. We saw Saudi Arabia has allowed for pilgrims to come in now. Dubai is opening up. What is safe to say about Italy? Are you going to be open for tourists? Will it be more accessible? I'm sure there are many Pakistanis who are very keen to learn more about that.
We are gradually opening up.
Okay.
We still, you see, COVID was very intense experience.
Yes.
For Italy. So it's normal that this process now is a gradual process, that people are extremely careful. Now we are one of the leading European country for number of vaccination. 87% of the population has been fully vaccinated in Italy. We have this green certification that allows all kind of indoor activities.
Right.
So we're gradually moving towards coming back to normalcy.
So what does this mean for travelers from Pakistan? Do they still require to quarantine? Are you still issuing them visas? For example, what about the various categories of visas? Are they allowed to go in as tourists, students, businessmen?
So yes, there are different categories. It's a bit complicated. In fact, students, we have a lot of students.
Yes.
This year we received only our consulate, we received 1,300 applications, student applications to go to Italy. So we have a very big demand. Students might go, no problem. However, the problem for tourism is the quarantine. However, for businessmen, we allow 5 days without quarantine. But I hope soon this, the problem is quarantine. I hope it will soon be taken off the chart.
So we had this exclusive conversation with Ambassador Giurdanella, and you can see that it's delightful to learn that he calls Karachi his home. And one last question would be: Are you enjoying the Pakistani cuisine? Are there any favorites that you and your family has?
No, absolutely. I love Pakistani. You have a very ancient food culture, like Italy. I see that all the Karachites are basically foodies.
Yes, and we take a lot of pride in that. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for making time for us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We had a number of topics that we covered in this. Of course, there is economic diplomacy at the forefront of all relations, and the bilateral relations are doing well. There is a 49% growth in trade, and there's a trade surplus of about $300 billion between the two countries. But there are many other avenues and areas where the two countries can collaborate, add value, and co-create more value, because when we talk about the potential is around $5 billion that both countries can actually benefit from. Thank you once again for being here. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Keep watching Aaj Pakistan.